thank you for joining us and waiting till the last session at the ET Ecom Summit 2023. I hope you all have had an interesting day today. We'll be having a very interesting conversation here on the age of quick commerce, which I can say is one of the most talked about segments of the industry and trends in the commerce market over the last 2 years and so. We have some very basic questions around the overall quick commerce space. And to start with, Nikhil, I want to first understand that, our traditional formats of grocery retailing, I'll say they were fine, they were sustaining. We have a big Kirana network, modern retail, and more. Now we have the entire 10-minute delivery system, and there's a lot of attention from investors, from consumers, and from the industry. Can you pinpoint the trends or the factors which are driving this need and further the demand for quick commerce in the Indian e-commerce and retail space?
Yeah, sure. So if you think about it, right, like be it normal e-commerce delivery or grocery delivery for that matter, has existed for a while. Like even before internet boom, like some of the Kirana store would send a helper to your house to deliver the groceries, right? There's nothing new about it. What has changed, and especially post-COVID, when people started seeing, like during COVID, right, when people started but not able to go out of the house and they were able to get the deliveries for groceries at the convenience of their smartphone, like that's where all of this wave started. And honestly, like entirety of our business has been built on the back of that change in consumer behavior, right? Where they were getting same assortment at competitive pricing at much, much easier convenience. Like prior to that, if you had to done your grocery shopping, maybe for let's say some of the modern trade, you would plan it in 2-3 days in advance and take out some time on a weekend and then go there. Now, when customers are seeing that, hey, you don't have to do that and you can get whatever you wanted, like without taking that mental burden of planning in advance, like just before 10 minutes of your need, like that's what has led to this entire change. And it's grocery is just the beginning, right? It's not just to do with grocery. Like while we started with dry grocery and fruits and vegetables, but over the time when we saw that what actually customers are valuing is the right assortment at the right price, getting delivered in a consistent and reliable manner, because that Kirana wala would at some time send the helper in 10-15 minutes, at some time in like 3 hours, or maybe he'll forget, delivering to you. So when they were seeing that consistent behavior, right assortment, getting delivered at the right price, that's when we saw that, hey, it can actually expand to a lot more categories. And we started expanding across cooking essentials, home needs, basic electronics, and while we speak, like a lot of other categories are in pilot too. So that's about it, right? That customers are now getting hooked to that instant gratification, right? And not taking up that mental burden of planning it in advance is what driving, I would say, the adoption of quick commerce. And what we are seeing is just the beginning. I am very confident that it's a matter of time that quick commerce disrupts every single category of like the purchases that we make. It can even expand to like other categories like electronics and fashion tomorrow. Why not, right? And if you look at some of the old players, likes of Amazon of the world, like when they started, it was like a delivery in 10 days or so, gradually shrunk it to a week delivery, to 3-4 days delivery. And now all of us are hooked to next day delivery and same day delivery by Amazon, right? Now it's just that next step change of disruption where that next day delivery or same day delivery becomes, 10-minute or 15-minute delivery.
Just a quick follow-up on what you mentioned about the changing consumer behavior. Post-pandemic, there has been a notable slowdown in the e-commerce industry. Did you see that at Zepto as well? What does the data say?
Not at all. Like surprisingly, I think the change in behavior of users related to a lot of stuff, not just quick commerce, because of pandemic, right, has persisted. Be it work from home in some setups, having that flexibility, or being comfortable with remote calls, or getting things delivered a lot from like online space rather than going yourself to offline. So what we are seeing is that behavior not only consistently, persisted, but rather seeing a growth built on top of that, where people started getting not just used to about this new change, but rather excited and started valuing that, hey, we can probably optimize our time a lot more and, can get these conveniences delivered at the convenience of, our doorstep.
Okay. I want to understand more about the questions that revolve on the unit economics of a quick commerce model. But before that, I have a spicier question for you, also because you're a part of the ecosystem. Do you feel that the entire industry has been unaccepting towards quick commerce as a whole?
Not really. I think, whenever there is a massive disruption, right, you're definitely bound to get some friction because it's not always easy for people to accept step changes, right? And that's what quick commerce has been doing to the in general retail space, right? So I think it's a matter of time when people, and it has already happened, right? When we started, I think the acceptance was a lot lesser, where people were not sure about, hey, can you even do it? Once we started doing it, a new category ended up getting created on the back of that, and even the biggest player, likes of Amazon, ended up jumping onto the same business line, right? So I think it's a matter of time where people realize that, it's a much more efficient way to deliver a much better customer experience and fulfill those needs. And I think that acceptance has not just been increasing, but I feel a lot more people are now excited towards it.
Okay, great. Coming to the big question on the unit economics of a quick commerce model. And we have to take into note, that the questions are for the right reasons. There have been significant burns posted by players in this category. But Zepto claims to be getting it right. And if I'm right, the company is eyeing profitability over the next 12 to 15 months. What is the secret?
Yeah, so I think, fundamentally, what we are selling is everyone needs it, right? Even prior to internet, prior to e-commerce, prior to quick commerce, like grocery delivery, fruits and vegetables and other needs are not going anywhere, right? We're solving an existing problem. And talking specifically about unit economics, one thing that we have focused a lot more at Zepto and what enabled us to, become, so like majority of our stores are profitable at operating level today. And, and as you mentioned, eyeing and company level EBITDA break even in, I would say, a year or so, right? And what we have been focusing always on is, hey, how do we leverage power of technology, power of automation to solve a lot of problems instead of throwing money at the problem or people at the problem. And then that, backed by operational rigor, operational excellence, is what has drove us to where we are. And a lot of things, which people often underestimate is the power of laser focus. A lot of other players which, ended up burning a lot more cash, like quick commerce was probably just one of the 10 businesses for them, right? So I'm not sure how much of laser focus they were to getting it right, and they were probably overfitting their existing infrastructure and systems around quick commerce model. Rather than if you look at Zepto, we have been building for quick commerce since day zero, be it about operations or supply chain network or about technology stack, right? And obviously because of that, we have that inherent advantage of building things specifically for this model and building in a lot more efficient manner. And that's what has led to where we are as compared to our competitors.
You mentioned, Nikhil, earlier that the company plans to foray into newer categories such as electronics and more. Is that a move also to maybe increase the average order value, which is, I think, one of the key metrics to track for any quick commerce company today?
So we already sell basic electronics, like even if you try to open the Zepto app and try to place an order. And yeah, like we were doing pilots for Zepto Cafe in multiple geographies in Bombay. It panned out pretty well, now expanding that to multiple cities. So I think it's both ways, right? When you expand to newer categories, you're capturing more market share, more use cases, and hence increasing your wallet share. And obviously it helps you to increase your average order value as well. So that's like just one of the objectives that you can, that you get with like more and more categories.
Got it. When we look at a quick commerce model, last mile delivery, I think it's fair to say it is the soul of building a sustainable business. how are you optimizing your delivery operations, and what impact have you witnessed, especially over the last year that the company has been focusing on bringing in profits on your delivery costs and more?
Sure. So I think, I mean, again, to get it right, last mile delivery is not the only thing. You have to do a lot in the dark stores as well. But talking specifically about last mile, right, there are multiple things to it, right? When people say 10-minute delivery, people often think of it as fast. It's actually short distances, right? And that's how we are able to deliver a lot quicker and in a lot lesser cost. When you deliver it over a much shorter time, the same delivery partner can deliver a lot more order and hence cost you a lot lesser per order. And that's just one aspect of it. We have been trying out like e-bikes and even bicycles, for the last mile, which works pretty well for short distances in a high traffic cities. Is better for environment, comes at a much lower cost. So it's a win-win for everybody, right? Win-win for and it helps us build a sustainable and profitable model where a lot of the focus is around bringing EVs into picture, bringing bicycles into picture. And as that adoption grows further, it's a matter of time, the cost keeps coming down. We are probably one of the lowest there in the space, and that just continues going down there and improving our unit economics.
It's an interesting metric that I came across, that Zepto compared to its competitors has a lesser number of dark stores. Does that work at your disadvantage, or are you planning to increase your dark store count?
So number of dark stores is one thing. Getting them right at the right spots and having a right network design is a completely different ball game, right? We have been able to do at par, if not better than our competitors in terms of delivering orders, in terms of number of orders, with lesser number of dark stores. That tells a lot about the stronger network design that we have. And yeah, we do plan to increase number of dark stores in the existing cities over the following months in this year, where basically we keep opening more and more dark stores. It helps us to reduce the last mile leg for each of the dark stores, which reduces our delivery times, reduces our delivery cost, and increases our capacity to do more orders in the same areas.
Wonderful. Just one last question, Nikhil. How do you see the entire quick commerce model and the industry evolving over the next 2 years?
Sure. So I think, like what I mentioned before, right? What we are seeing is just the beginning of a disruption to the entire retail space. We have been the ones who started this in India, and then a lot of players followed. So I think the model is definitely going to evolve a lot around how do we make it profitable, how do we expand it across multiple categories, how do we expand it across multiple geographies for that matter. And the way we are positioned today, I'm very confident that probably we will be leading that evolution change as well.
Wonderful, great. I think wonderful insights, Nikhil, and thank you so much for joining us.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everybody.
I hope the audience enjoyed the conversation. Thank you.